Welcome back, Nighttime Knights. So in today's lesson, lesson number 7, we are going to be completing that lighting inventory and assessment that we started last lesson. So if you remember, we have 6 steps to complete our inventory and assessment. And last lesson we did the first 3, so today we're going to be doing the second 3. So those second 3 are the recommendation replacement options, the cost analysis, and the report and letter of change. Alright, let's go through those. So the recommendation replacement options is when you will be going through all of those lights that, remember last time we evaluated the lights to see which ones we wanted to improve or replace. So now we will be going through those specific lights and coming up with our ideas about how they could be changed to improve and decrease light pollution. So second is the cost analysis. And for this, we will be going through only the lights that we want to change, and we will be thinking about how the change will affect the cost. And then finally, the report and letter of change. This may take the form of a letter or a presentation, but this is when we will be compiling everything into one report to give to the property manager, the maintenance staff, or whoever is in charge of the lighting at your property. So this will take into account the cost analysis, the benefits of decreasing light pollution, and pretty much anything that we have learned throughout the course of this Fight for the Stars curriculum. And this report and letter of change will be what helps us convince people that the lighting needs to be improved or changed so that we can help improve our community. Alright, let's get started. So again, you did a great job last lesson assessing those lights. Wasn't it super cool taking data on the outdoor lights that are all around us? Okay, so this lesson, we're going to use that evaluation we did last lesson, which helped us to determine which lights we want to improve or change or replace. So this lesson, again, we're going to be selecting those specific replacement recommendations we'll be making. Then with the cost analysis, we will be comparing how much the lights we use now cost with how much the lights we want to replace them with will cost. And this will tell us how much money we could potentially be saving. And then finally, in that letter, we are going to be writing about everything we've learned so far to convince our community that replacing these lights would not only decrease light pollution, but also help improve our community. And in our writing, we want to keep in mind those 5 principles that will help us say why we want to replace these lights and how they will improve our community. Once we finish our lighting inventory and assessment, we will be creating real change in our community. We will be reducing light pollution, we'll be keeping our community safe and healthy, we'll be saving money and energy, we will be protecting the stars, and we will also be protecting every living thing that lives around these lights. Alright, are you ready to go help improve our community? So again, as the last thing we're going to do together, we are going to look at an example of today's 3 steps being done. So again, this will be me going through my lighting assessment that you can follow along at your specific property. Alright, let's go back to George Washington High School.
Alright, welcome back to George Washington High School. So right now we are going to learn about the replacement recommendations that I have for the lights that I evaluated during the last lesson. So for this first barn light, when we looked through those 5 principles to evaluate this light, the main problem we had was with principle number 2, which was the targeted principle. So right now the barn light is lighting up the sidewalk in the parking lot, but there are other lights that cover the parking lot. So that means that we want to change this barn light to only light up the sidewalk, which is what it's being used for right now. So let's look over at the replacement recommendation we have. So we want to change this barn light fixture to a Kichler-Ripley light fixture, which we can see in this picture, with an LED R14 2400 Kelvin bulb. So we can see all of that in this picture, and by changing to this light fixture and bulb, the light will become targeted, it'll reduce glare, which makes it easier to see, it will protect living things around it, and so much more. Also, the replacement fixture should have active controls, so it is only used when it's needed. And how do we figure out what we should change each light fixture and bulb to? Well, I used the Outdoor Light Fixture Replacement Options handout, which can be found in that downloadable handout sheet at txnsf.org. And this is super helpful because it lays out a lot of the common fixtures that you will see in your property and some great recommendation options that you can use in your lighting inventory and assessment. So here is fixture number 2. And I want to mention again that when we are looking through these replacement options, we only need to look through the fixtures that in that inventory we marked as yes, we want to change. We do not need to look at those lights that we said, no, these are fine. So these 5 that we are looking through in this demonstration are those lights that I marked as yes, they need to be changed. So for this particular light, the main thing we noticed was that it isn't very targeted. We can see that glass on the side, and so let's look at the recommendation that I'm going to be recommending. So since this light isn't on very much, and it's for illuminating a small area, I'm going to be recommending that the fixture stays the same, but the bulb is replaced with a flat top bulb with 2400 Kelvin, as we can see in this picture. This way, the light isn't creating glare, it's targeted, and so much more. And this is option number 2 under light bulbs in the Outdoor Light Fixture Replacement Options handout. Alright, so here is light number 3. And when we evaluated this light last lesson, the main 2 things we noticed was that it was not targeted and it needs controls. So let's look at my replacement recommendation. So for this light, I'm recommending that a shield and active controls are added. For the shield, we can use option 1 under wall sconces in the Outdoor Light Fixture Replacement Options handout. And this is what we are looking at right now. And this shield is really cool because we can just add it on to the light. This way, the glare is reduced and it will prevent use when it's not needed because of those active controls that we are adding on. And furthermore, we also want to change the bulb to an LED bulb, same as the one that we just looked at for the last light, so that we will save money and energy. Alright, here is light number 4. So again, looking through the 5 principles that we looked at during our evaluation last lesson, 2 of the main things we noticed is that it is not targeted at all. Also, we want to change the Kelvin rating because right now it has a lot of light in the blue wavelength. So what will our replacement recommendation look like? What do you think? So for this light, I will be recommending that the light fixture be replaced with this fully shielded wall pack with an LED light rated at 2700 Kelvin. And we are looking at the wall pack that I would want the school to be replacing it with. And this will save money and energy, it'll reduce glare, it'll protect the living things around it, and so much more. In addition, this fixture comes with a bulb and a motion detector, which this is a really, really nice light fixture. Okay, so finally, light number 5. So this light, when we were evaluating it, it's a pretty bad light. So principle 1 is actually really the only good principle of this one. It is definitely useful. It is lighting up an entrance. But that being said, it is too bright, it has too much light in the blue wavelength, it is not targeted, and it really needs a motion detector. So let's look at my replacement recommendation. So for this light fixture, we're actually going to recommend the exact same one as the last light fixture that we looked at. This is because, again, it is a fully shielded wall pack with an LED light rated at 2700 Kelvin. So it is replacing pretty much everything that we found wrong with this current light fixture. It will now be targeted. It won't have as much light in the blue wavelength. It will be the appropriate brightness. And also, again, this wall pack comes with a motion detector. And again, to find all of these replacement recommendations, we can look at the outdoor light fixture replacement handout found in the downloadable handout sheet. So now let's go, we have finished with the replacement recommendation section of this, so now let's go look at the cost analysis. Alright, so now let's look at the cost analysis that I did. So the lighting cost analysis, again, is only for those lights that we are recommending to be replaced or improved in any way. This is because money matters a lot to people who are managing a property, and this is going to help us a lot when we are recommending all of this at the end. So through this sheet, you will be able to use the cost analysis handout worksheet that takes you all through those calculations. And the cost analysis calculations handout can be found in the downloadable handout sheet, and it is super helpful when used with this spreadsheet because all of the colors match up and you're able to go through all of those calculations. And in the end, our goal is to find out how long it will take to break even. So when we are buying a new fixture or a new bulb, that is going to cost money. But because that new fixture and that new bulb will likely cost a lot less energy and money to run because it will be more efficient and a lot safer, then it will eventually break even, and the money that we are saving on the electricity will eventually cancel out with the money that we spent on the light fixture and or the light bulb. And I do want to note that on one of the fixtures that I had, it did take a while to break even, like many years, but in the short term it will look a lot better and it will be a lot more safer. So even though in terms of the money it might not break even for a while, it will look a lot better and be a whole lot safer. And that also matters a whole lot. So you can go ahead and pause at my spreadsheet and go ahead and do your cost analysis calculations and fill out your cost analysis spreadsheet. And we'll meet back for our last section. Alright, here is the final section of this demonstration. It is the report and letter of change. In this letter and report, you will review the lights that you think should be improved or replaced and why you think they should be changed. Here is where you can use the cost analysis, safety improvements, and other benefits to support your assessment of the lights. This step may take the form of a presentation as well. So in this, you'll want to include your inventory that you created, your evaluation, and the cost analysis. And I want you to think through everything we have learned throughout this time that we have been together, and I want you to convince whoever is in charge of your lights. So for my high school, that is the superintendent or the headmaster, and I want you to tell them why these lights should be changed, how they're going to improve our community, and how they're going to cost less, save the environment, and all of the benefits that it will provide to your property. So you will either email this or present it to whoever is in charge of your property, especially the lighting of your property. And here we are looking at a sample report and letter of change. It is not the one that I created for the George Washington High School, but this is a good sample that you can follow when creating your report and letter. So good luck with this, and I hope that you are able to create some change in your community.
So as you're finishing up your lighting inventory and assessment and beyond, I hope that you will remember to be a knight for the night. And thank you so much for joining me on these lessons. And thank you for creating real change in your community that will raise awareness about light pollution and everything we've learned through these lessons. All right, I hope that before we leave, you will enjoy this quote by Sarah Williams. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. Good luck on your inventory and assessment, and bye nighttime knights.